So I drive all the way back home. Another 20 minutes to let theirs. I've seen 3 sets of families' dogs, okay? Like somebody showed me a cat. Dear love, Pete, Sam. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Circus, guys. My name is Tristan Sartoris, and I'm so happy to have you guys back here with me today. At some point, I should start switching out my little intro, but that's for another time to think about. Guys, was that intro a little bit over the top? A little excessive? Maybe, but perhaps. But the thing is, this is Full Circus, so we do everything to the maximum. That is the meaning of full. So yeah, actually, before I get into the true meaning of humor and fun that is this podcast, I do want to say something real quick. Everybody who's out there, they may be going through some stuff. If you're dealing with a sickness or some pain, depression, heartbreak, whatever it may be. I just want to say, I'm here. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to show some compassion, and I want to show some more understanding out there in the world, because this is what just happened. I was driving and having the time of my life, right? And I was driving behind this guy. He had a New York license plate. And I was like, whoa, New York is so exciting. I don't even know where that's from. We don't have people out of state here in Ohio. And I was driving behind him, and I was excited. And I'm in my freaking car with all these groceries, because I'm going to go make some exciting donuts here. And I'm jamming to Life is a Highway. Life is a highway. And we're having fun. And I'm pointing at the guy. I'm like, yo, dude, we're all having good times today. And I'm following this guy. We're driving through these roads. And eventually this New York guy, he takes a turn right into this funeral. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's sad. It didn't even occur to me that what this person might be going through. And that kind of sparked something into me to remember that, to not always live in your own circumstances, because that's what we do, right? We live in our situation, whatever's going on. Like for me, I was having a great time, dude. Windows down, wind through my hair, blasting, blaring, feeling good. About to go make some delicious snacks with the best music on possible. My life was amazing, and I was trying to preach that and put that out forward, and it just kind of reminded me that some people are dealing with some stuff in the world, And I just wanted to say that we're here, dude. We are here, the podcast. We're here for you, and I just want to say some prayers for anybody who's out there dealing with some stuff, because I do want to remind myself and to remember, that not everybody is listening to Life is a Highway, and not everybody is about to go make some delicious Fruity Pebble donuts, dude, which, by the way, sucked, okay? So I was trying to, we're done with that. We're done with the first part. I preached my compassion, my understanding, and my peace, okay? Just wanted to get that out of the way. And now we can go into the further point. But a quick little side note is about those donuts. Side note, kind of sharp. It's more like a side song. It's a whole other tune we're going to be doing here, because I'm off track, guys. I'm off kilter. I spoke my piece, and I'm moving on. About these freaking donuts, dude. I have been wanting to make these delicious Fruity Pebble protein donuts that I've heard so much about for so long. They look delicious on video. I watch YouTube videos. People make them. I'm like, oh my gosh, the calories, the macros, the protein in them is so great. I'm like, okay, you know what? I am going to try these. I'm going to try these. And this has been going on for months and months and months. And I finally committed. Bought a donut pan. And I was like, crap. Don't have all the freaking ingredients. I don't have the groceries to do this. So I spent $12 on this donut pan, another freaking $13 on groceries, and now I'm $25 in for these Fruity Pebble donuts. I'm excited, right? I've committed. I put the money forthwith, okay? I am ready to experience the delight of all the hype that I have imagined in my head, right? Because I've been thinking about these donuts for so long, and again, you live in your own circumstances. People are dealing with some stuff. I'm like, people are whatever. I can't wait to try these donuts, and people are sad out there. But yeah, I've been hyper fixated on trying these freaking donuts, and I spent the money. It was no problem. The money was no problem because I knew that these donuts were going to be delicious. So I get in there and I'm putting all the ingredients. I'm like, here we go, baby. This is gonna be the thing, man. I spent the money, spent the time. Let's go. And these things are horrible. They're trash, absolute gag masters, okay? And through no fault of my own, okay? I followed all the directions to a T, okay? I might not be the best chef in the world. I'll admit that. My cooking skills are second to many. But I followed this thing very diligently and thoroughly, and I was proud of the process and the ethic of work that I had put into this thing. And they were horrible, man. They were horrible. It was just all protein. Like, yeah, we're gonna just they're protein donuts. It's like, this is my problem with all these people who make these healthy, meals. You make a healthy pizza or a healthy, cake or donuts or whatever it may be. All that it is just the normal recipe with 3 scoops of protein powder in there. So I'm chunking it in. I'm like, okay, whatever. Hope this is gonna be good. I'm excited. And that's all it is, dude. It's just a protein powder bagel with cereal on top of it, man. So I'm chewing these things and it feels like wet cement. I'm like, I got to keep my mouth going because I don't want it to set in there. I'm like, what? It was so disgusting. It was so horrible. And you just sprinkled some cereal, right? I got some Fruity Pebbles. That was the only bit that might have been a little bit good. But even then, it was tainted by all this protein flavor. That was disgusting. So, I don't know what the moral of that story is. Don't get too hyped. Don't get too excited about some things, or just don't trust these protein chefs because they don't know what they're talking about. I'm just going to stick to the crappy food that I eat, and that's cottage cheese. Okay, these donuts are horrible. Don't try them. They're bad. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. And again, I need to not live in my own little donut world. And remember, people might be going through some stuff. Like my mom, she's feeling sick. She's going through some stuff. And I know people are dealing with deaths in the family and tragedies and traumas. There's a lot of stuff out there. And I just wanted to remind everybody that we are here. We're here. I'm here. Okay, I care. I'm praying for you. And, maybe things don't just always get better on a dime, right? You can't just always say, hey, I'm praying for you. You're going to get through it, but I will say, hey, I'm praying for you. You are going to get through it. And, I don't know how long that's going to be, but, maybe this podcast can do something for you. So yeah, that's something I'm working on to remember, I'm a very compassionate guy. I believe so. But I need to remember to be compassionate in the times where you don't see it, right? It's not always in front of your face. Now, granted, this is sparked because something was in front of my face. But I'm trying to remember that, right? I'm trying to remember, even in my good moments when I'm feeling great and I'm feeling on top, that other people might not be. I'm trying to help left. So yeah, I need some more compassion in that sense, because I do care. And it's not just the sickness, right? Because it's like sometimes people just get sick. I'm just like, oh no, so sorry, My compassion needs to go beyond congestion, right? If there's like a death in the family, I'm like, oh, you'll get through it. You break your arm, break your, like, oh, don't worry, just a few weeks. Something happens, like, hey, don't worry about it. But if you're congested, you get a cold. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What can I do to help? Gotta be. There's got to be something I could do. Are you okay? You're gonna get through this. I'm like holding your hand. I'm trying, because I care a lot, because that is a very deep and dark and personal tragedy for me. But I need to remember to, go beyond the phlegm. So what else has been going on, dude? So I've been watching my aunt's dogs for the whole freaking week. Been there. I've been house sitting. And the dogs have been great. The house sitting is always interesting because you're there, right? You are there. You're in the place. But I mean, like, you're in the neighborhood, right? And you become kind of integrated into this little culture that you're kind of seeing these neighbors and these people, and I'm start waving at them like, hey, what's up? And they're like, who's the kid driving the broke down Jetta? Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm taking out the trash. I'm part of the business, guys. So our relationships go way below acquaintances, but I'm still kind of trying to interact, and you feel like you're really a part of the place. So it is an interesting thing. You kind of, it's like wearing a new set of clothes. And you're like, hey, I feel like a different person here. I feel like I could belong. I feel like I could belong here. What's up, guys? How you doing? How's everybody doing? Life is so hot. I'm like, no, we don't do that here. This is a nice kind of wealthy neighborhood. We keep the volume low. So it's been nice. It's been cool. My aunt went above and beyond with getting stuff for me to stay there. Like, she got toothbrushes and shampoos and conditioners and loofahs and toothpaste and everything was sheets, and it was very taken care of. Now the only problem with that, so this is very generous on her part, but the issue with that is that now as I'm taking showers, so these things were fresh, new bottles, And I'm worrying that I'm not showering enough, right? So I'm like taking the showers, and I'm not showering enough. I guess I'm showering. Well, I think I bathe a fair decent amount. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm not getting dirty, right? I'm just kind of hanging around the house. I'll work out and then I'll shower. So about 4 times a week. I think that's pretty fair. It's not the best. It's not the greatest, but it's right in the middle, right? But what I keep thinking about is that she got these things, and I don't want her to pick him up and be like, these are still pretty heavy, right? Like, was he not even bathing at our house? Like it's like a giveaway, because now I've put like the template, the control group, so to gauge how much I'm bathing. So part of me is like, I don't know what I gotta. So I start like doubling up. I gotta start taking showers more. I just gotta like just dump it down the drain. Like, yeah, and then she'll pick it up and like, wow, this is a clean kid. He must be bathing 4 times a day. So I don't know what the trick is there, but I think about that while I'm there. So you gotta stay on top of your hygiene, or at the very least, deceive people into thinking you are more clean than you are. So that's what I've been doing. Taking care of those dogs. I was actually taking care of a lot of dogs. Oh, dude, I had the craziest of dog adventures ever. So the first night I was there, it was Friday, Saturday. Anyways, it was like the first night that Stranger Things came out, the volume 2, right? And if you don't know about Stranger Things, just know that there was 2 new episodes, and they were both 2 hours long, right? There was about 5 hours of content to be watched, and I was excited. I was over the moon to watch these things, but I wanted to wait until it got dark out just to have some extra little spooky flair, some ambiance, just to really get into it, get integrated, right? And so I wait. Sun goes down. It's probably about 10 o'clock. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling excited. And I watch this thing, and I start snacking, obviously, because it's a big event for me. So I start tearing through their cookie dough. If I'm not going to use their shampoo, I better at least make sure I eat all their food. It's like, hey, you tore through, but he didn't take a shower. But yeah, so I'm eating the food. I'm having a good time, and I get through one of the episodes, 2 hours long. Now it's like about midnight. It's about 12:30, and I get a message from my sister-in-law. Is that what it is? My sister, my brother's wife. Text from my sister-in-law, and the text said, "Hey, Tristan, I'm so sorry to wake you up, but we are actually stranded on the side of the road. Car blew up, motor overheated and whatnot." I'm like, oh dear God, I'm so sorry, but also please do not ask me to drive wherever you are out in the wilderness to come pick you up, because I'm so excited to watch this episode of Stranger Things. I've been waiting all day. I've been eating all of my aunt's food. Okay, I need to be in this moment. Like, yeah, no, don't worry, you don't need to come pick us up. However, our dog Levi, we are very worried we're not going to make it home in time to give him his medicine, right? And their dog gets medicine frequently, many times a day, because he has strokes and seizures and whatnot. And she wasn't directly asking me to go do this yet, but it was implied. There were implications. And she's like, yeah, no one's really answering. I doubt they called anybody else, but they always contact me about these things. Why? Because I'm so reliable. Like, yeah, we just kind of knew you would answer. We could get a hold of you. I'm like, yeah, I know you could, because I'm so reliable. And now, isn't that a problem, dude? The more reliable the more reliable you are, the more tasks you are given, right? The more thorough and success that you have with people's chores and errands, you are rewarded with more chores and errands, dude. It's like some sort of weird vicious cycle. For the better person you are, the more good deeds you do, the more is pushed and shoved your way, dude. So her family, whoever's not answering or not paying attention, I'm sure they're awake. It was only midnight, and everyone had to been watching this Stranger Things episode. Like, yeah, just whatever, take care of yourself. These people don't ever have to do anything for anybody, so I'm just like, yeah, that's what family's for. So it's just a really messed up thing that he has to do. Like, so if you're just getting beat, and you're like, wow, he's taking this beating so well, let's give him more beatings. I just gotta start playing dead or something. I gotta stop being such a good family member or something, because I'm just always taken in so many different directions. Like, hey, could you help us out? You're always there in a pinch, always there in a bind. What can you do for us? I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm always there. I'll be there the next time. So it's a really sucky. It's a bittersweet thing to have. But anyways, she was not directly asking me to go let this dog out yet, but it was implied, and we're kind of going back and forth. I'm like, all right, let me know whatever happens. Like, yeah, no worries. I think we're going to be okay. We should make it. I'm like, okay, great. Crisis averted. I'm going to sit down, get ready to watch the Stranger Things episode. And we're kind of still texting. Now it's about after 1 a.m., maybe 1:30. And I'm like, okay, just let me know. Do I need to go right now? Because I'm not actually home. I'm at my aunt's house, which is north. You guys are way south. It's going to be a super long drive. They're like, actually, you know what? No, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. I'm like, okay. Everything's done with, okay? We have completed all the conversations. I've deleted the freaking message thread. I'm sitting down. I've got all my snacks. I'm going to watch this episode, okay? I didn't want to watch it. I didn't even start it because I didn't want to get so invested emotionally into this scene. So I hit play. I get 3.5 minutes, into this episode. And my phone blows up with messages and calls and voicemails. I'm like, oh crap, dude! And like, yeah, actually, you know what? We're not going to make it. It's going to be horrible, and we're scared of our doggy might die. Is there any way you could go do it? Like, I'm reliable. Okay, I'll be there. And I freaking drive, dude. It's like a 50-minute drive. And it's after 1. It's close to 2 a.m. at this point. And I'm chugging along, dude. Chugging down the highway. I'm like, what is even going on? Where am I right now in the world? So yeah, that was exciting. I didn't get to watch that Stranger Things episode. I just hit the road, man. Just hit the road in my little beat-up Jetta with no snacks or excitement. And I get there, man. I get there around like freaking 2:30 or so. I give the dog his medicine, take care of her, let him out, and then I get a text like, okay, we can pay you. We're actually gonna be home in like 8 minutes or something. I'm like, what? 8 minutes? I just drove about an hour. I'm not gonna get home until 3:30 a.m. I'm not gonna get to watch this Stranger Things episode. I'm not gonna get to start it until like 4. Not gonna be over till 6:30 a.m. And you're 8. I was only gonna beat you by 8 minutes. 8 minutes? I'm like, screw it. I don't want the money. Forget it. And I just left. I just left the house like, whatever. I also saw some poop that was on the floor. And I was like, I was going to clean that up. It's like, you guys are about to be home right now. Why was I tasked with this? It's the freaking curse of being so dependable that they needed me to do. I was like, this was a waste of time. It was a waste of gas money. And I could have been watching Stranger Things. But it's okay. I wasn't actually that worried about it. I was actually finding the humor in it while I was driving back home at 3:30 a.m. Well, back to my aunt's. I was like, this is so ridiculous. I'm just alone in the streets. You know, there's nobody, no cars, because why would they be? Duh. It's 3. No one's driving around. No one else is this reliable that they're just tasked with these not needless, but emergency chores. So that was exciting. And then I finally actually got around to watching it, and it did end around 6:30 a.m. And then I tried to sleep at my aunt's house, which, by the way, she has no curtains, and I was sleeping in her family room. And it is not easy, okay? I'll put a photo up somewhere I have of it. It's trying to sleep with the freaking resurrection of Christ in the background. I'm like, God! Seriously, I mean, literal God, like, Lord, please help me. You gotta go home, like, some other day, like the rapture's happening or something. I'm like, no, it's like, we gotta reschedule or something. I was up late. I just watched Stranger Things, which, by the way, it was great. But I was like, I'm full. I was just, can we take a rain check here? So it was exciting, man. I was like, did you guys call my dad? Is everything going to be okay? And they're like, yeah, we woke him up. I was like, oh, he was probably not happy because it was his car. I didn't even mention that, dude. They were borrowing our car, and then it blew up. So, yeah, my dad was woken up with some bad news. And I would argue, guys, that being woken up with good news still isn't that great. Even if you shook me and you're like, hey, wake up, I won the lottery. I'd be like, what? Get off. I just stayed up late watching Stranger Things, So it's not easy being woken up at all, but imagine being woken up with bad news. It sucks, and it does happen. So remember to not only live in your own circumstances, that some people are woken up with bad news. My dad woke up to find out that his own car exploded, and that's a sucky feeling to have. So what else is going on, guys? That was my little excursion. Oh, no, hold on, it's not even over, dude. So I was at my aunt's taking care of their dogs. I drove to Carlton's to take care of his dogs. And then I get back, I finish Stranger Things, and it's around 6:30. And then I remember that someone else asked me to let their dogs out in the morning. And I was like, I can't just fall asleep for a couple hours and wake up. So I drive all the way back home. Another 20 minutes to let theirs. I've seen 3 sets of families' dogs, okay? There's 5 or 6 dogs included in this whole thing. I'm like, somebody show me a cat, for dear love. Pete, Sam, dang heck. So I was not through. I saw way too many dogs. I took care of way too many things. I fed treats to way too many animals. I'm like, I just want to sleep. And then I did get some sleep, kind of. But yeah, so that was my big thing. And my brother was actually helping me take care of that other dog. And he was like, when did you get here? What happened? Where have you been? I'm like, you don't even want to know, dude.
I've been on quite the adventure, little brother.
Okay, so I think that's everything. What else is going on? Finally, we're back on track. It was the 4th of July, dude. Happy Independence Day. I got the little lights in the background. You see that? It's exciting. It's cool. It's fresh. It's bad. You know it. Now the 4th of July, dude, it's a great little, holiday. It's kind of like New Year's, right? It's just a one-day event, so I don't know why people set off fireworks for 8 days. July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and it's still going on right now, dude. Why, right? I get it. You're happy. We're independent. We've separated from freaking Great Britain. We're free. But there doesn't need, we don't keep saying Happy New Year day after day after day after day. So I don't get why people keep lighting these things off in the middle of the night. I'm like, I'm trying to stay up and watch Stranger Things. No, I just, there was just so much noise, and people are hooting and hollering and just lighting things on fire, which is the most American thing to do. We've talked about this before. There's nothing more American than lighting something on fire and sending it into the atmosphere. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. I don't know why it's not just a one-day thing, but it is what it is. And speaking of dogs, dude, I have a theory that dogs are just like reincarnated war veterans, because they're freaking out about these fireworks. The guns, so get down, I'm having in the trenches. I'm in the trenches, So they don't freak about any other loud noises. I could scream right in their face and like, yeah, whatever. So these dogs just don't freak out. But something about these gunshots, man. If a helicopter flies overhead, they're like, and so that's kind of what I've been thinking about, dude. I'm like, what's really going on with these dogs? What's going on in the old noggin? And they were freaking out, so it was even more annoying. That's my real thing. So normally I don't care if people are just setting off fireworks every day, but it's that I was watching dogs for all of these days, and they keep freaking out back and forth. I'm like, guys, can we just stop for a second? All right, let's just pretend we're not free for just one moment. Let's all be British for a couple of days. Doesn't that sound fun? So yeah, that's what's been happening with the dogs. We went to the parade. The parade was exciting. It's always fun. It's just a nice little, show. There's candy being thrown, and the unfortunate problem with my age now is, well, just ever since you're like past 13, I've been dealing with this for about 10 years, is that when you're sitting there and people throw candy towards you, you're looked at as if you're like a douche or you're rude if they throw a bunch of candy and then there's a bunch of kids running out and I steal that from them, and I don't think that's fair, okay? I have way more teeth than them. They haven't even lost their baby teeth. I have sweet teeth. They might have one sweet tooth. I'm like, I need to be fed. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I need more calories, and I would like this food, and I have stranger things to watch. I'm just going to keep on saying that, but so that was a big hurdle for me, and it's something I've been struggling with a lot, especially, it could be like Halloween or whatever it may be. Any holiday where there's candy or things offered, I'm like, mine. And like, Tristan, put it back, okay? The 5 and 6-year-olds also would like to participate. I'm like, fine, whatever. So yeah, that was a struggle. Parade's always doing that stuff. The parade's also very political. People hate that about the parade. Like, oh, Democrats, Republicans, people, who should we vote for? And I don't care. I'm just excited to see these people just out there. So whether they're Democrat or Republican, I'm like, yo, you're the best. I love you. And I don't even know who they are because I'm not involved in it. But, I'm just trying to uplift their day and make them feel better about their freaking 4th of July. And the floats were cool. Floats were okay. Some of the floats were good. I have an issue with some of the specific floats, and it's not because they were wrong and they weren't giving out the right candy. It's because in my head, I'm like, this doesn't make sense, right? So this giant extermination float going by, which, by the way, like, what kind of, if all the kids are out front and we're getting the candy, and he's like, hey, we're exterminators, we can go and give you your pass for free, you get half off, we'll go into like, I don't know what the sale is on here, what's the business model, but they come out here with a big extermination float, and they have a bunch of mosquitoes and bugs and stuff on top of it on their thing, like inflatables. I'm like, well, if you guys are so good, what are you going to do about these insects infesting you guys. So that in my head, I'm just immediately, you guys aren't good. And I get it. I get it's an inflatable. I get it's a decoration. It's supposed to sell the show. But what I would want to see is a completely clean car and be like, hey, check out this. No, we're all good. We're all clean. So that upset me in a little bit, and I know it shouldn't have, but this is where my brain goes. I go, hey, this doesn't make any sense. How can I trust you if you can't even take care of your own car? And I was also a little upset with the dentist because the dentist comes by, which, by the way, again, just why? For what reason? Can't we just have somebody just come by and just throw candy? And he's not even trying to sell anything. It's like, hey, I'm the candy guy. That's it. I'm not advertising anything, just joy. But there's not one of those. It's always just a business. But the dentist, he doesn't throw candy. Now, this makes sense. But I don't like it because as a business model, as an entrepreneur in my head, I'm not an entrepreneur, okay? I'm actually very financially inadequate. And I don't understand business in any way. But for me, this was a good business model, right? The dentist should be throwing out candy so that they come to him. If you're throwing the freaking kids their toothbrush, they're not going to need you. It's like if you brush a kid's teeth once and they're clean for a day. Teach a kid to brush his teeth and he'll never get cavities. Now, that's a stupid motto to live by because we're all trying, listen, America, capitalism, this is the 4th of July. We embrace the business models and entrepreneurship and the ways that we can make money. So why isn't this dentist throwing out candy so that we could all be collectively going there needing his help? So, yeah, that was just a good idea on my part. I wasn't actually upset about it, but I was thinking about it a lot. And I got distracted for the rest of the parade because I get hyper fixated on things. I'm like, well, this is interesting. This is going to be good. And that's why I have a podcast to come and tell you about that. What else happened, dude? Joey Chestnut, guys. If you don't know who Joey Chestnut is, pay attention. Turn on the TV once in a while. Watch SportsCenter. Dude, on ESPN, isn't this crazy? This is the most American thing I'm ever about to talk about. There is a live sporting event in America where we eat as much as humanly possible and consume, and then we're rewarded with money and trophies, whoever eats the most hot dogs. And Joey Chestnut, it was his freaking 15th time he's won. He ate 63 today. His world record is like 76, okay? And before that it was about 73. He's got all the world records. This guy's an animal. Literally, he's just eating just so much. And this is the most American thing you could ever be. This guy's rewarded with millions of dollars. His net worth is like over $3 million. Isn't that insane? There are actual athletes who make fractions of this. And if you can eat a lot of hot dogs, just to say, dude, if you get really good at something, people will pay you for it, man. People take notice. People pay attention. So he's just like, yeah, I'll eat 75 hot dogs. And be like, wow, millions of dollars. Let's go. Meanwhile, there's doctors and teachers and construction people in the trade. Very important jobs that could use a little bit of a bump in their money or their salary or whatever it may be. Like, this is where we spend our money, is on the athletes. People always argue about that. Like, oh, these football players, why are they getting so much money when the doctors get a fraction of that? And then we have people who are eating hot dogs. We have people who are just eating food. I eat food every day. And these people get paid way more than them, man. So it's absurd, but it's also exciting. It's comical when you think about it. I'm sorry for the doctors. You guys are great. Love you. I don't know, pick up a hamburger every once in a while. Just start, a little side hustle. Just start eating. Next time you're eating a meal, grab your neighbors and just kind of scoop it. But it's not easy. I'll give them that, dude. We had hot dogs on the 4th of July, actually, while the thing was going on, and I got 2 hot dogs in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling stuffed. And I watched the clip, and this guy's just shoving it, dude. He's sweating, just grease and oil, and he's like, oh, I'm more important than anybody. It's just the most American thing ever. America is so great, right? Because we have so much freedom. But with that comes so much stupidity, right? Like, other countries have horrible restrictions. They're horribly oppressed. And with that, you don't really allow for human error. So it sucks. It's horrible. They have some bad countries out there. And then here in America, you allow for the human error. Like, these people are kind of like robots. There's not a lot of bad things that happen because it's so strict and kind of shut down and locked. And we're like, hey, we're free. These are the things going to happen. And they're like, okay, we could be working on anything, but for right now, we're just going to see how many hot dogs we can eat. So it's just, America's silly, right? It's so great. Like, we're so free, but we're so silly. It's like a cartoon. It's like, it's funny to think about. We're the people that just threw bacon in everything. Who do you think, if you had to guess out of all the countries, which country turned bacon into a milkshake? Okay, people are eating ice cream and like, I could use some bacon. This milkshake, like, there's eat ice cream. We just shove bacon. We're horrible, but like so great and so disgusting at the same time. I don't know how to always feel. Like, we're very grateful for our freedoms. This isn't a protest against America. It's 4th of July, so I'm happy with it, but I can also appreciate how silly and disgusting we can be, but it's just fun, dude, and I'm not mad about it. I'm sure there are people that are very upset about, the money that's going to these people, and I'm sure the doctors aren't too happy, but I'm not a doctor, and it doesn't affect me. I should be more compassionate to these people that aren't in my circumstances, but my brain is always just like, this is just fun, dude. Isn't it just fun? Isn't life fun? Isn't it just silly and quirky and interesting? So yeah, I just try and pay attention to these little things, because you never know what's gonna pop up. You never know who's gonna, take the world by storm by eating the most donuts or whatever it may be. So I think that's everything I have to talk about with you guys today. Happy 4th of July. But stop lighting the fireworks, okay? I get it. We're free. I love America. But stop, because some people are watching dogs, and it's very inconvenient when you're trying to watch shows or movies or whatever it may be, or these dogs are just interrupting you, barking and freaking out. I'm like, guys, come here. And then like, get off me. But anyways, that's everything I have to talk about. Feeling good, looking good. Hope you guys are having a beautiful weekend. This shirt, by the way, dude, speaking of looking good and feeling good, this shirt I stole, man. I stole this from set. I got this, well, I was wearing it on set. It was actually from the production. And I can't really tell you that, but I just did. And I was like, can I take this like as a wrap gift? This is so nice. This is a freaking amazing shirt. And I was like freaking out. I was geeking over how great this shirt was, how well it fits. And they're like, Tristan, it's not that big of a deal. It's stupid. It's whatever. Like, maybe we could swing that if you want. I'm like, wow, this shirt is just so nice, man. I love it. And this is how poor my tastes are. They're like, listen, and they freaking pulled the tag. I'm like, it's $1.98, okay? It's not even a $2 shirt. Yes, you can have that. Okay, good way. Just take it. Just don't tell anybody. And then I went and talked about it on the podcast. So yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I appreciate the people who let me keep this shirt. It's so comfortable, guys. $2 shirts are nice. It's hard to find a T-shirt. It's hard to come by one that just fits so good and so snug and makes you feel like you're whole, man. It makes you feel like you could eat 76 hot dogs. So yeah, Joey Chestnut's a national hero. I love dogs. I love hot dogs. And I hope you guys had a beautiful weekend, a beautiful holiday. And even if you don't celebrate the freedoms, maybe you're somewhere else in the country, I hope that your country isn't too robotic. I don't know what the message is, but just know I'm very compassionate. I understand that. Okay, guys, I gotta go watch some more dogs. Peace!